You have to take it. So there's a phrase that I heard someone once use referring to spiritual metaphysical people like us. She said, the problem with some of you is that you are so heavenly, you're of no earthly good. In other words, she was talking about those kinds of people who are so woo-woo, so dreamy, so out there, that they don't really have their feet on the ground. They're not practical. They're not in this world. And I gotta tell you, in some ways, she was right, although it sounded like criticism, because I have known some people in my circle where I have thought lovingly, how do you even function? How do you get anything done? How do you make a living? And I know it sounds judgmental, I know that, I admit it, but the truth is, sometimes I get a little frustrated with these people because they're kind of the stereotype of what some people in the world think that spiritual people are like. You know what I'm talking about? And yet, if you really look at what spirituality is all about, it's not just about keeping our head up in the clouds and not being concerned with what's going on in the world. It's actually about being both, communing and honoring the wisdom and the divinity of the cosmos, of spirit, of the universe, of life, whatever you want to call it, while also living and being right here on earth. It's about understanding that, yes, there is more going on beyond what our five senses are telling us. That's the definition, incidentally, of metaphysics. Meta meaning beyond, and physics meaning what our five senses are telling, what's going on right here. So metaphysics is going beyond that. So it's about understanding metaphysics, but it's also understanding that our five senses are also about what life is all about. Is this making sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's making sense to me. That's what counts. No. As the old saying goes, I say this a lot, we are spiritual beings without a doubt, and we are having a human experience. If we weren't supposed to have a human experience with all of its mess, then we wouldn't be having it. Being here on earth, ladies and gentlemen, is life school. It's part of the curriculum. It is part of our soul's evolution. We are supposed to be here. It is part of what grows us and helps us expand in consciousness.
Amen. Sorry. Amen.
Okay. From the newcomer. Woohoo! Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do our spiritual study and meditate and communion and contemplation and all of that. We absolutely should, must. It is essential. But I am also saying that we need to be of this world and live and learn what it is here to teach us. Because it's all part of life expressing. It's all part of God. So our founder, Ernest Holmes, said this: here is the difference between the dreamer and the practical man. The dreamer is always floating around in the clouds. The practical man keeps his thought in the clouds and his feet on the earth. In this way, he brings heaven to earth through himself. So that's basically what I want to talk about today. How we can continue to be spiritual and open ourselves up to this amazingness of spirit and the universe and the limitlessness of everything. Some people might call that heaven. And still bring it back down to earth and live it. Because by living it and living it well, we are honoring the life force energy that wants and needs and desires to express itself. couple weeks ago, we discovered this quote by Carl Sagan. I just can't let it go. It's one of those ones that got in and I just can't let it go. When he says, the cosmos is also within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. ... Here on Earth. That makes sense? You with me? So that is the way that it knows itself, that God knows itself, is through us and as us in these bodies doing these human things. I remember serving on a panel of ministers several years ago, answering questions from the audience, and one of the questions was, so are we human or are we spiritual? And I said, well, the answer actually is both. We can't separate them. And as for me, I kind of like being human. I mean, chocolate. Clean sheets. The smell of freshly mowed grass. Sex. My nickname is Reverend Naughty. I wrote a book called Giving God a Good Time, okay? I calls it as I sees it. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, Dr. Pat, come on. You keep talking about spiritual practice, like meditation and prayer, and you talk about taking classes. Did I mention we have a couple classes starting in September? Talk about taking classes to know more about our relationship with the universe, and you talk about seeing practitioners so that they can know the truth when our human self is blah, blah, blah. Shouldn't we always be striving to keep our thoughts on God and not on being human? Well, sure, if you want to sit in the lotus position all day and meditate. But most of us are here to live a balanced life, a well-lived life. Hunter S. Thomas said, life should not be a journey to the grave with the intention of arriving safely in a pretty and well-preserved body, but rather to skid in broadside in a cloud of smoke, thoroughly used up, totally worn out, and loudly proclaiming, woo-hoo, what a ride! Say that with me. Newcomers, yeah, it's always like this. I gotta tell you. So, doesn't it make sense, then, that when we have that we should have our head in the clouds and our feet on the ground, because then we get to experience the best of everything? We get to experience the transcendence of knowing that we are more than our five senses. And we get to experience the joy of experiencing all of those gifts that our five senses bring us. The gifts of sight. Did you see the sunrise this morning? It was gorgeous. And sound. Did you hear what Trevor did? And touch, and smell, and taste. Because one of the ways that we experience heaven on earth is through the fullness of life. Ernest Holmes said, the kingdom of God on earth is just as real as the kingdom of God in heaven, because heaven is here when we see it. The kingdom of heaven includes our physical bodies, our physical environments, and everything we are doing that is good, right, and just. So, I see some of you taking pictures of the slides. I think that's wonderful. You can always email me and ask me to send them. Seriously, I'm always happy to share them. drpat@calvarycsl.org. Okay, but I digress. So I was on Facebook this morning. That's kind of my morning routine. Look at Facebook, and I have so many inspirational friends, and they're always posting really cool stuff. So I had the talk all done. It was finished. It was tucked away, put to bed, everything. And then somebody posted this on Facebook, so I just had to add it because it fit into our topic so much. Did I mention chocolate? And there's still more to be known and to be experienced. In the Hindu faith tradition, they talk about the energy systems of the body called chakras. Well, most of you are familiar with chakras. It was a concept that was very, very foreign and unfamiliar until right around the turn of the 20th century. And since then, it has become synonymous with certain kinds of spirituality. Most of us know about chakras. There is a danger that it might be considered a little woo-woo. It's not science of mind. So don't get the science of mind police after me, because I am going to talk about the chakras, because what I have found is that this is a sound spiritual teaching. Sound spiritual teaching. But I'm not going to talk about all the chakras, but I'm going to talk about 3 of them that are germane to today's topic. In fact, we've already talked about one of them already. The red one there at the very, very bottom there is called the root chakra. Located at the very base of the spine. It is the most human of the chakras because it has to do with groundedness and earthiness and security. For instance, in meditation, when we focus on the root chakra, we are focusing on our foundation. That which allows us to feel safe and secure and solid. It is that energy that keeps us tied to the earth and to our earthly human experiences. And as you can see, it is an integral part of the system. It's not supposed to be ignored or shunned or, oh no, I don't have a body. You know what? Yeah, we do. This is the root chakra. So in order to be balanced, we need to acknowledge and embrace and honor our humanness, our connection to the material world in which we live. We've also talked today about the crown chakra, the one on the top of the head there. Crown chakra is that which connects us to spiritual, cosmic energy. It is a chakra of limitlessness and expansiveness. In meditation, we often visualize the top of the head, the crown, opening up like a 1,000-petal lotus and joining with the cosmos and all of its wisdom and all of its potential. It's connected to that feeling of spiritual bliss, of being one with everything. Dare I call it heaven. To be balanced, it is ideal to have the crown and the root chakra both working in harmony with one another along with the others. But these two are truly an example of being a spiritual being having a human experience. However, there's another one of the chakras that I want to explore today, and that's the one where the two meet, the heart chakra, which is located, as you can see right there in the green, right there at the heart. As you can imagine, the heart chakra represents love, all love. The heart chakra. When we meditate on the heart chakra, we visualize our hearts opening and love pouring out and pouring in, circulating love, like our hearts circulate blood in our bodies. Now, isn't it interesting that where the root chakra and where the crown chakra meet is right here at the heart, at the place of love. In fact, if you imagine your body as a cross, the vertical line going from crown to root, and the horizontal line from finger to finger is right at the center, right at the heart. And I don't think that's a coincidence at all. I believe that when we are honoring all of us, we are primed to give and receive love, earthly love, and the unconditional love of spirit. I love this quote by, I'm going to try this, Morihei Ueshiba. who wrote, "Each and every master, regardless of the era or the place, heard the call and attained harmony with heaven and earth. There are many paths leading to the top of Mount Fuji, but there is only one summit: love." Go like this. I gotta tell you, I had a much different idea for this talk. You know, when I plan these talks, Monday or something, the week before I start thinking about it, noodling it and everything, and I thought I was going to spend a lot more time talking about spirituality and groundedness and how the two are essential to a life well lived, but this idea of the heart and of love being at the center of the balance of it, it kept niggling away at my consciousness, and I kept, no, I'm talking about that. And again. So I've learned not to ignore the nudge of spirit when it happens. So what the nudge that I got was that we needed to go through a meditation about these three chakras. And so I am going to ask Trevor to come back up. And he's going to play some meditation in the background, meditation music, while we do a brief meditation. So as he's setting up, I'd like you to please take everything off your laps if that's comfortable for you. And just get yourself relaxed in your chair. Focus for a few moments on your breathing. For the next few moments, there's no place you need to be, nothing you need to be doing. Just focus on your breathing. And now put your focus, as it showed in our illustration, on that root chakra located at the base of the spine. Imagine it pulsating. Its color is red. And just imagine that it is that solid foundation, that which leaves you grounded, feeling safe, feeling protected. All things material. And just imagine it sending its roots down into the ground, making you even more stable, more safe. Put a focus on that for a few minutes. And now imagine that energy that is coming from the ground, that grounded energy, that earthly energy, slowly beginning to rise up through the column of your spine. And now put your focus on the crown of your head, the top of your head. And just imagine it beginning to open, the 1,000-petal lotus. Imagine it beginning to open. And the visual image is that it is opening up to the cosmos so that there are stars and planets and galaxies. Just be with that as it's opening up, and it's opening up to wisdom, it's opening up to potential, it's opening up to all of the possibilities everywhere. And you are one with everything. You are made of star stuff. And now imagine that that cosmic energy is coming down and beginning to work its way down the shaft of the chakras. As the earth energy is coming up from the earth. And they are moving and pulsating and meeting at the heart. And so put your focus there on your heart chakra, color green, and imagine it pulsating and spinning open. And as it is pulsating and spinning open, imagine that it is pouring out love. Love of the earth, love of the cosmos, individual love, unconditional love, spiritual love, universal love, romantic love, sexual love, love for children, love for parents, love for everybody. It's just pouring out. Love for humanity. It's just pouring out. And because it's open, it's pouring back in. It is circulating. It is circulating out and in and out and in. And just allow yourselves to sit for a few moments in that feeling of love. Call your attention back to the heart. Not closing the heart, but just making it internal once again. As the energy begins to sink again down to the root, begins to rise again to the crown. Imagine the crown chakra spinning closed and the root spinning closed. And simply feeling a sense of absolute balance. And take in a deep breath. Let it go. And start to become aware once again of your surroundings. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. You're present here, right now. And when you're ready, open your eyes again. Are you back? So that was just a little slice of heaven, right here on earth. Please give a hand to Trevor. That was amazing. What we had decided was that that would be his second song. Usually we have a song before and